Imagine that your journey begins on a legendary river, the Mekong. One of the world's longest rivers, it flows through 6 countries in Southeast Asia. You are in Laos, between China, Burma, Thailand, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Now imagine, as you glide gently past pristine forests and fishing villages, that from this princely river, you can travel back in time. And slowly, you return to the distant past. You are now in an ancient forest in northern Laos. You have arrived in Bokeo, the land of the long-armed animals, gibbons. This primary forest, which is more than 7 centuries old, is home to one of the few independent nature reserves in Laos. A forest whose interest lies in its canopy. That's to say, the uppermost layer of the forest, in the few meters where 80% of tree foliage is found and where plants synthesize more complex molecules than at ground level. In this timeless spot, men live in the trees and fly through the air. This primary forest conservation project is called the Gibbon Experience. It's the brainchild of a former overseas volunteer and French teacher, Jean Froment, whose sole aim is to preserve the forest.
What brought me here was my desire to achieve something in the realm of forest protection. And I'd always found there were few real results when it came to attempts to protect tropical forests.
Dans les tentatives de protection de forêts tropicales.
So I knew that I needed to find a different angle.
Trouver un angle différent.
And as a climber, I found a different angle by climbing the trees.
C'est en grimpant aux arbres que j'ai trouvé un angle différent.
We had to build tree houses. I thought it was the answer. And that's what we've done. Then we invented ways of getting to them. The zip line from the mountain over the forest canopy is an invention of mine.
Hanging structures or geodesic domes, every treehouse is different. Each of these wooden units is tailor-made for a particular tree. They can accommodate between 4 and 8 people. And the idea is to live for 3 days above the forest, completely in the trees.
when you push yourself, let's two tires and the stomach, and have to push like this and put stomach and the crab in the bowl. It's better for you.
You know the way.
You know the way.
You know what you're doing, young man?
You know when you stop, you have to grab the cable.
Safety first. Thank you, everyone.
He's one hand on top.
I know.
136,000 hectares are now protected. There are just 6 tree houses on the edge of the forest, a kilometre apart from each other. The visitors come from all over the world, like this American couple who are traveling around the world for a year with their children. For now, nature is their classroom.
Did you see something? Oh, that's a beautiful. Look at that. That looks like some kind of kingfisher. The green with the red head. It's right here on this branch. That's a nice one. See it, Abby?
Right there.
Right here, close by.
Oh, yeah.
Sort of had to train the kids that you can't always see what you want to see, and so you have to be patient, and maybe you don't see it even though you've come all this way, but you look at other things. You enjoy the butterflies and the birds and the zip lines
And the tree houses and the everything.
There's a lot of good stuff here.
In the information book, I read that they're gonna do like a few more tree houses around the edge on near the villages, and each village has control of a tree house, and so they can it's very good, a lot of jobs for the village people, and they can I think it's very good because there's more opportunities for them as builders and engineers and guides even.
Jean-François's project provides a source of income for several villages around the forest. It employs 50 local people full-time: canopy guides, treehouse builders, cooks, cleaners, and a dozen forest rangers. These men of the forest are also protecting the last gibbons, small apes whose whistling can be heard from a great distance. The black gibbon is mainly found in the forests of Asia. These primates are difficult to observe. Male-female pairs defend their territory with visual signals and vocal displays.
It's a population that I had identified, or rather discovered, observed, and which fascinated me. Then I managed, with a friend and his camera, to film them close enough to show them to the experts. Those gibbons no longer exist. This footage isn't real. We told them to come and see, and they came. The Natural History Museum in Paris. No, Hanover. And they were gibbons that had supposedly died out in the 1950s. which are slightly different to other gibbons that are not yet extinct.
Back on the Mekong, heading south to the pearl of the Mekong, Luang Prabang. And your journey becomes more spiritual. You have arrived in Luang Prabang, the former royal capital of the Kingdom of Laos, the heart of Lao culture, and the country's spiritual center. Rebuilt and restored countless times, this small and timeless city was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995. You have to know how to take your time if you want to discover the myriad of details that make this city a place suspended in time.
Here, beauty is in the moment. It is simply in a moment. Maybe Luang Prabang's charm lies in this providence, this ephemeral aspect, this timeless quality.
Timeless, like the art of gold embroidery formerly practiced at the court of Luang Prabang, an art that creates ceremonial robes, religious accessories and artifacts, possessing an aura of sacredness. An art that is perpetuated by Tiao Somsanith, who was taught this technique as a very young boy by his grandfather, the last viceroy of Laos.
You can't speak of Lao culture without having some knowledge of the culture of Siam, of the Mekong Valley, of the Upper Tonkin or Vietnam, of China and the Yunnan, of Cambodia with its dances, its cultures. You can't speak of the Lao culture without having some knowledge of the Indian world, the Sinicized world, and the Malay world.
Luang Prabang is first and foremost the city of 32 temples, an important spiritual symbol for the population as a whole, which is still very fervent and very faithful. Buddhism is a way of life here, a social rule and a representation for all things.
Buddhism is the soul of Luang Prabang. Buddhism is the soul of the population. It isn't the mind or the body, it's the soul. You give alms to the monks. You make some food, just some rice for the whole family. like when you make bread for the family. You save a portion for the beggars, except that here, the beggar is a monk, the most venerable of all human beings.
But this paradise is becoming precarious, fragile. Victim of its charm, the city is now the country's top tourist destination. Its face is changing. Old Lao families are deserting the city, and hotels are moving in. These days, the procession of monks begging for alms is little more than a tourist attraction. Travel agencies have included the offering of alms in their itineraries, and groups of Thai tourists brought here by the tour operators pay a small fee to join in and have their photo taken. The monks themselves are wondering about their future in a city that is gradually losing its soul. Your journey continues along the Mekong as you travel west to meet one of the country's first inhabitants, the elephant. But in Asia, this animal, which has been domesticated by man for over 4,000 years, is disappearing. There are only 560 domesticated elephants and 700 wild elephants left in Laos. To save the Asian elephant, an association, Elephant Asia, began organizing elephant treks 6 years ago. A former overseas volunteer here in Laos and founder of the association, Sébastien, is developing various alternatives designed to protect this animal. For him, protecting elephants means protecting wide open spaces and the entire ecosystem.
To begin with, it was more about getting closer to a cultural pillar, an animal that contributed to building the Asia we know, its towns, roads, villages, temples and beliefs. Elephants have always been here. When you live in Asia for a while, you can't ignore them. You can't not see them. When you see one for the first time, you are amazed by its size, by its docility too. If it wanted to, it could kill a mahout in seconds. And you wonder why it doesn't.
But in Laos, trekking with travelers is not the elephant's usual task. Anais works for Elephant Asia and is carrying out a field study to better understand the issues surrounding this animal, which is most often found in mountain forests skidding logs.
Tăng này xăm theo.
The thing is, when you log wood with an elephant, you make a good living. You earn about 70 a day. And our elephant provides a living for 4 people. 4 of us own the elephant, and we share the income. It's the only way to make a living. We're poor. We cut the trees and the forest disappears, but we have no choice. There are no factories to work in.
It's back-breaking work. The elephants often spend all day hauling logs weighing 3 to 4 tons. They become exhausted, stop eating, and no longer have time to reproduce. In Laos, there are only 46 females left under the age of 20. With Elephantasia, Sebastian is trying to raise awareness among the mahouts and elephant owners about the role and the importance of this animal in Lao culture. And through his association, he is buying elephants for owners who have promised to no longer make their animals work and, above all, allow them time to reproduce. A less strenuous and more ecological alternative, these elephant treks organized by Elephantasia represent a first step towards protecting this animal. But Sebastian still has a long, hard job ahead of him to ensure this integral part of Lao culture does not disappear within the next 30 years. Your journey ends further south as you drift slowly down a long underground river that was off limits to tourists as recently as 2001. Cut off from the rest of the world for 30 years when it embraced communism in 1975, this country of 6 million inhabitants is now slowly opening up to tourism. But this environment and these cultures are fragile, and only a responsible form of tourism will ensure this unique way of life is preserved in the face of the questionable appeal of modernity.